Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also wanted to add my voice on the issue of labor as sought by the Senator Murango. I think that, Mr. Speaker, you know, we have artificial construct by the issues of having borders in among our counties, our countries. To the extent that, you know, economic mobility of labor is need-based, to the extent that if anybody doesn't have a job in a country like ours, they will look for that job from wherever they can. But some complexities do emerge that makes it impossible for them. One of those I know that my sister Tabitha has talked about, but I wanted to even make it better, which is the issue of data. You know, when it comes to the issue of labor in this country, the issue of data for decision-making becomes very difficult. And I wanted to just strengthen that idea of being able to have robust data that can be able to highlight, one, those people who do not have jobs in the country that are seeking jobs abroad, or who have got mismatch in terms of jobs that we have in the country and are seeking jobs abroad, vis-a-vis those who are able to get them and why they can be able to get them. In fact, Mr. Speaker, I would actually want to urge that this committee considers even encouraging the relevant ministries to be able to make data availability a public thing that can be able to even be brought to the media, so that when we have got data on labor that is seeking work abroad, this can even be broadcasted more broadly, so that people can be able to see what is going on in other places. But more close to this, and that's very close to my heart, Mr. Speaker, is just the idea of complexities around people who are abroad, who work and then want their monies in terms of remittances to come to their local households and families to be able to transform their lives. Because when people go to work abroad, they go to work to be able to change their lives, but also more importantly, to solve the needs of their communities down here. So one of the reasons why it becomes very difficult for labor to be mobile is the idea that when the remittances are coming, they're very expensive to the extent that they cannot be able to do some of the development that they want to do back at home or help their families. And this is where I think that the committee should consider some of the most adventurous ways to innovate around making some of our companies locally, like Safaricom, be global brands. Because Safaricom has become a very serious finance giant in the global financial systems, to the extent that if as a country we purpose, like countries like South Korea that purpose to make their companies like Samsung global brands. Imagine if Safaricom was a global brand today, all the remittances that we are getting in terms of billions outside, the families that we have outside that are working outside will be able to make them in a cheaper way that makes labor have powerful sense to local communities. And lastly, Mr. Speaker, I think that Kenya should be able to start thinking in a more serious way around our immigration laws, to the extent that when you look at the mobility of labor, one of the biggest problems is the issues of visas and the issues of getting passports. I think that we should be able to make it easier for people who are looking for jobs abroad to get their passports in an easier way. But in a reciprocal matter, we can also be able to consider making countries that have got some opportunities for our people as much as possible visa-free, so that this kind of bilateral agreements on issues of visa can make it possible for us to invite good talent in the country, but also us being able to export any kind of talent that we want in other countries. With that, Mr. Speaker, I support Senator Murango, and I hope that the committee will consider some of these ideas to incorporate in their statement. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.